Hello, friends. Today we are going to learn how to use the Classroom Observation Data Collection Form to check the fidelity of PBIS classroom practices. This observation tool is used by PBIS coaches and school teams when completing the Tiered Fidelity Inventory, or TFI, in order to inform the score for Feature 1.8. But this tool can also be used as a follow-up from professional learning to check for understanding and progress monitor. The classroom observation data collection form is two-sided and helps us to check the fidelity and the use of the 8 PBIS classroom practices. These include classroom expectations and agreements, procedures and routines, behavior-specific feedback in the form of acknowledgement and error correction, physical arrangement, active supervision, opportunities to respond, and the positive behavior gain. In the event that we wanted to check the fidelity of a single classroom practice following a professional learning activity, for example, we could focus on those specific practices when completing classroom observations. The first classroom practice we will look at during observations is classroom expectations and agreements. We are looking for classroom expectations and agreements that align with the school-wide expectations and that are written in observable, measurable, positively stated, clearly defined terms, and they are prominently posted. It is important to note that classroom expectations are in addition to the school-wide expectations that we see in our school-wide matrix. The second practice that we will be observing is classroom routines and procedures. We may not see all routines and procedures posted, but we can find evidence of them. For example, a morning message could be posted that provides arrival procedures. The teacher could also have a dedicated finished work bin to place completed assignments. We can also see evidence of routines and procedures with the use of callbacks and attention signals. During independent and small group time, routines and procedures may be posted and taught that lets the student know what group they're in or how to complete a station assignment, or maybe how to get help when the teacher is working with a group of students or an individual student. Behavior-specific feedback requires a little more attention when observing. We are listening for both generic and behavior-specific feedback and keeping a tally. When providing behavior-specific feedback, the teacher should name the student and the behavior being recognized. For example, if you heard the teacher acknowledge a student like, "Brandon, thank you for being respectful and raising a quiet hand to ask a question," then you would place a tally in the behavior-specific acknowledgement box. On the other hand, we also want to record general praise. This includes all general acknowledgements and ranges from "good job" to a thumbs up. So, just like with behavior-specific acknowledgement, we will mark a tally each time we hear a generic praise as well. The observation form asks that behavior-specific acknowledgement is delivered 4 times as often as corrective feedback. During classroom observations, we will pause from answering this question until all data has been collected and we can analyze. Scoring behavior-specific feedback for error correction is very similar to acknowledgement. We want to keep a running total of general and behavior-specific error corrections. So as you hear behavior-specific and general error corrections, make sure to mark a tally for each. We also want to consider if there is a continuum of responses being used to discourage inappropriate behavior. For example, does the teacher use proximity to discourage unwanted behavior? We strive for a ratio of 4 acknowledgement statements for every 1 error correction. To determine if we met that goal, we will take the total number of acknowledgement statements, both general and behavior-specific acknowledgement, and compare those to the total number of error corrections, both generic and behavior-specific, in order to get the total ratio. Checking the fidelity of the physical arrangement of the classroom is simple. We are looking to determine if traffic patterns are clearly defined and allow for smooth teacher and student movement. Furniture is arranged in ways that allows for students to be seen at all times and allows teacher easy access to the students while allowing the students the ability to collaborate. Are instructional materials and wall postings organized, easily accessible, and clearly labeled for use? And finally, are there separate spaces provided for students to self-regulate or work independently? Though it's not required, we have included that question about students having an area for self-regulation and independent work because it's important that we take note if we see things like this, because one of the features in the TFI asks if teachers use proactive and restorative responses to discipline. By providing students with the area to self-regulate, like a calm down corner, we would be providing evidence of teachers using a restorative approach to behavior. Checking for active supervision in the classroom is also very simple. We want to make sure the teacher is supervising their classroom by doing three things. Are they moving, scanning, and interacting with the students? Checking the fidelity of opportunities to respond begins by counting the total number of students in the classroom. Then, for a 1-minute period, the observer will count the number of students engaged and on task and record the ratio. We will repeat this process again before the end of the classroom observation. We also want to circle or check the different opportunities to respond strategies and types that we notice when we are observing the classroom. And finally, the last practice on the classroom observation data collection form is the positive behavior game, or sometimes referred to as group contingencies. We may not see these in all classrooms, and each positive behavior game will look different across classrooms. An example would be a class that was working on being respectful by raising their hand and waiting to be called on. The class could be looking to earn 7 tallies for showing that target behavior in order to earn a group reward such as a Go Noodle Brain Break video. I hope this tutorial on the classroom observation data collection form was informative and helpful. If you have additional questions, please reach out to your division PBIS coach.